go.
All right.
All right. All right. I'll introduce it. Hey everybody, I'm Adam Doyle, and I'm here with Evan Howell. And in this conversation, we're going to focus on learning a little bit about Evan and his backstory and a whole range of topics. But yeah, I think he's got a lot to share, and we're excited to dig into it. So my sense of things, and we'll see where it all goes. But my sense of things is to get a little bit around, your background, your experiments, what kind of got you into doing them, um, notable experiences. I know you have some wild ones. Stuff about animals, because that's something we're both really attached to, and even maybe a little bit around psychedelics and possibly current events. So those are the kind of range of areas. And yeah, and I think getting getting, a really open and expansive sense for your intentions, where you've come, like where you're coming from and where you're trying to go, and a little bit of your mission, I think is something really worthwhile to have available to people who know you and know your work, and people who are just, you know, joining for the first time. I think this will be a great resource for everybody. So to get things started, hey, how you doing?
Good, man. First, I like the idea, dude. It's fun idea to have the sort of origin story and or lens perspective, like where you're at now, sort of triage to it,
Cool,
and I'm here for it. How
cool.
are you today, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a great way to start the day. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So I once read that from an editor actually that the worst place to start a story is at the beginning. So let's do this. Let's do this because I just encountered that a few days ago. Let's do this. Let's start with one of your encounter stories. I mean, this is kind of a curveball. Let's start with one of your encounter stories, and then from there we'll back up and sort of. We're going to cover everything, but we might not do it in a totally linear way. So, do you have? And I know that you've mentioned some of these to me before, but do you have an encounter story that we could hook people with?
Gosh, like the most like general like biggest impact one for me probably would, and I've probably mentioned it maybe before on other podcasts, but my buddy who lives in Mass, and I might actually do a podcast with him too. He said he's down, but I'm not pressuring anybody. But we saw over Amherst, Mass, a massive triangle. Like it's not like you see the pictures now of like the or the stills of ones, and they were like 747 size ish, like around that ballpark. But the one that me and my buddy saw was bigger than a stadium. Like we kind of jokingly called it like the Star Destroyer because it
Yeah.
was roughly, it was not that big, but two-thirds about that scale. It had big windows on the back, but it was silent, and we followed it for a while, and nobody was looking up at it aside from us. It had these crazy, crazy bright lights on it and on wingtips and middle. We saw like whatever beings, awareness in the windows looking back down at
Wow.
us. And then as it got over like the Trader Joe's Walmart area, it went from like kind of creeping speed to like a little faster and pretty much whoop, like just like you would see the Millennium Falcon or whatever blink off, like it was just a dot. And
Yeah.
like we were like, what was that? Like, because we lived in a haunted house or whatever, like a pretty energetically active house at the time anyway, which is a separate deal altogether. But we were like, what the heck is that? Like, that's bonkers. Nobody's looking up, and B, like, that thing just blipped into oblivion. Like, well, that's that's nuts. Like, to me, I was immediately like, that, I don't think that thing had a gas tank.
Yeah.
But to, obviously, as well, like, that's really crazy beyond anything that I've ever seen to date. Like
Yeah.
clearness factor, like just followed it for a while. Like it seemed to,
What time of day was it? Was it daytime, nighttime?
it was evening. It was about maybe like 7 or 8 at night.
What time
On
of year?
fall.
Okay. So darkish,
Yeah, so yeah, it was oh yeah, it was pretty dark.
pretty dark. Okay.
Pretty dark.
What year was this approximately?
2007-ish, I
So
think.
okay. hmm Okay.
And
So
there
so
is an
oh sorry, go ahead.
there is an Air Force base around over there, but I
Okay.
don't know that that was Air Force related, actually.
Right. Would in our general ufology understanding of things, would you call that a TR3B or is it totally different than that?
Oh golly, no, just that's what I mean. Scale wise, it would be like more than 1,000 TR3Bs.
Okay.
Massive, massive, like bigger than
Wow.
the stadium.
Wow. Wow. And wait a second. And nobody else is looking up, right? You said Trader Joe's, Walmart, there's people around. This has to be casting a shadow. It's so big. No?
The
Oh, wait,
lights were
wait,
like
right. Right. Nighttime. Right. No, nighttime. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
these, and again, it could have been like fucking Men in Black, Forget Me Now, whatever
Yeah.
sprayer lights, and me and my buddy
Yeah.
were immune, or it could have just been we saw through the bubble that they normally everybody else didn't see.
Oh,
I
right. Right.
honestly don't know. I
Right.
really,
Right. Right.
but
And what was your buddy's response to that then and then afterwards?
he, and again, I'm not judging or talking smack about my homie because I still talk to him, but he definitely didn't. It didn't sit well with him. Like onologically, it was pretty roughness for the seas treating him. But like still talked about it, and like years later, like we both like were like, dude, that's fucking bonkers. Like draw what you drew, and then like we sent each other the pictures, and they matched, but
Cool.
like
Mhm.
which was bonkers, and but he's in a place now at least where he's cool to talk about it, but that's the silent part of it is crazy. And maybe it was a hologram. I mean, it's possible, but it seems like real. Like it, like
Mhm.
I gratefully have seen a bunch of whatever they could just be balls of plasma, but the and formation, but the triangle ones around here are pretty regular
Mhm.
over my spot now. And even in Texas, there was like orbs and
Mhm.
other stuff too. But like, yeah, it does seem like there's a gradient to like the more you're open to it, the more it shows itself, I guess.
That's a really good point. Yeah, that's a really, really good point. It's a tricky one for skeptics because the notion that if you're open to it and you are believing it, their argument is, oh, well, then you're just imagining it. Then it's all pareidolia, right? But like there is actually something significant that if you are open to it, um, you're more capable, apparently, of perceiving these kinds of things. So again, so this happened around 2007. Was this like the moment, or was there ones before this that started to really open you up to clearly you already were a little bit, but like in terms of tracing the Evan origin story for like this world that we love and are interested in and are awakening to, um, do you recall when that really began or really took off for you?
I guess like node wise, like the first like related to now biofield kind of cross connection that I could draw would be the street light phenomenon or whatever that
Hmm. Okay.
that's common. And I there's a couple buddies still around that can attest to that happening.
Describe your experience with that for people who don't know.
That's the where you go near lights and they cut out, or like you're near appliances and they just fritz out or whatever.
Hmm.
It's where there's I guess a study that just came out about engineers call them gremlins or whatever in the machine. It's like basically an observable whatever, but like the streetlight phenomena. There was a specific streetlight on in the town where I was in my teenagers, where if I was by myself or with a group of people, like no matter what, it would shut off. And
Mm,
like I went, if I would go ahead, it would shut off for where when I was near it, and then turn back on for, and then everybody else would catch up. Or which we tested and like we would try it out all the time. Like
wow.
well, I don't know what's going on with it, but Evan puts that thing out. Like, hey, that's cool. Like, thanks for letting me know you're up there. Like, that's in terms of like phenomena wise, and like again, I guess like the bar of evidence set for yourself is really kind of like speaks to the to canceling your own observer effect. Like, whereas like seeing it with other people, it only kind of reinforces it, I believe. Like that would be like the first real model of that where I could point to where there's still people around where I could be like, hey, remember when that wacky street light like for years Hop did this? And they'd be like, oh yeah, that's crazy. I forgot about that.
That's really
Or
validating to have other people with you and to try it out with them versus you and seeing that you're definitely having an effect. That's cool. Yeah.
oh, for definite. Well, and kind of aside to that point, like and to which I don't know if it adds data or makes it any or makes it more unbelievable. I think I've told this part of this of whatever the deal is before, but I was sitting in the same gentleman that I saw the triangle with. I was sitting in or walking by in the living room. He was watching TV or reading a book or something, and I said like, "Oh, haha, like, hey man, how you doing?" And I had like a nickel in my hand, and I went flick and flicked it to him, and I watched it hit his shirt and go down, or like hit like in the middle of his chest and go down. And he picked it up, and it was a ring. He's like, "Dude, where'd you find this? This ring I lost years ago."
What?
Dude, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? I just flicked a nickel on your shirt. And is there a nickel? And he's like, dude, this is a ring. And I asked I asked him about it. I'm like, dude, you remember when that fucking nickel turned into a ring? And he's like, dude, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot about that. But I remember it clear as day. Like I picked up a nickel, I just walked by, happened to feel like whatever, like
Yeah.
inspired to flick a nickel at my buddy.
Yeah.
It hits his chest and turns into a ring that he lost like 2 years
Yeah.
ago. I'm
Yeah.
like that's like the weirdness factor of like, all right, cool. Maybe that's just like it's. I gotta accept that as part of the flow. Like that's just something that happens. It's yeah. I'm gonna. So one day I'm gonna come over to your house. I'll flick a penny at you, and it'll turn into like a diamond that you fell out of your mom's earring or something. Like, damn it, that's where that went. You son of a bitch. It was in a portal. I don't or no. I don't know what happens, but
Yeah.
it appeared.
Yeah.
It's
So, and I know there's more, and we want to hear more experiences. Um, but like, what is your sense of what's going on? Like, what's your relationship with your experience in your life of things glitching or, have seeing things that other people aren't seeing? Like, what is your sense of yourself in your life, in your relationship with what we call reality in ways that don't totally line up? Like, how do you relate to that? How do you explain that?
like from today's like like right now mode or like from
Oh,
then.
that's a good question. Yeah, yeah. Looking back on it now, but yeah, that's a great, like, however you want to answer it, because I know what you're saying, because in the past you would have a different perception, so it's developed. So talk about, that's a better way of putting it. Talk about your developing relationship with your understanding of reality and how it's evolved.
Well, like I would say there's like the awareness of like the glitch. I would call it. I would just say like, oh, I know whatever computers glitch around me or like this the street lights. To versus now, I would say more of a place of being able to help express the ideas that I've learned and like either like experimental demonstration or like switch like ideas that are maybe formed anciently or like kind of intuitive and put it into whatever either linguistics and or experimental form, which
Mm,
comes from the experience of all the mixing of the different interactions so far. As I see it, that's how I see it now. Anyway,
yeah.
it's a unique. Like not everybody has seen a huge triangle, and also not everybody has tried to make a volt stick. Like, and but it's just kind of the same thing as I see it, really.
Great, great. Okay, okay, okay. Um, so it sounds like what I'm hearing you say is that because the big question is Evan Howell, uh, scientist of the quantum realm, we love to call you that. So, like, is that where the motivation comes from? Like, when did that start for you to start doing your own experiments?
Oh, that I think that was Sir Dave, honestly. He
Oh,
threw it
really?
out. Yeah, there
Yeah.
was a bunch of stuff where he was like throwing it out there, like, hey, we're gonna have all these people doing all these various roles and trying this stuff out. Like, any of this sound like fun? And like immediately was like, oh, obviously experimenting sounds like fun. Like, why not? Like, oh, it's safe to play with lasers. Like that was where that came from. And then it's whatever, a knack for it. I'm grateful, and it just that's where that end of it spun out of specifically for like the building a cage and trying to isolate stuff and whatever.
Okay, so this is Dave Rossi, creator of the Generation Z podcast and group, and he's Canadian. And so this would be where somewhere in like 2020-ish.
Well, let's see. 2022, 2023.
Okay. And so before that, were you in your life as an adult, as you know, when you're younger as an adult, were you not doing science experiments? Was that just not something you're into?
Yeah, no, not really. It was more
Wow.
like Sonic, do like experimental stuff, but more with just like band wise, like
Music.
noise
Yeah.
band and
Yeah.
ambience and whatnot. Yep.
And in the music realm, was your relationship like what was your relationship with music? Was it just making, nice music, or did you feel like there was something else that you're trying to achieve with your music?
Yeah, I do actually like, well, because you know that as like the artist side of it is there's like the approach that you take to it, and mm, maybe don't realize it until a later time, or it's
Yeah.
beyond what you're intending at the point. But we started off basically like a noise band, like anti-dance techno band, like just undanceable techno, which was a kind of a thing. And it still kind of is, or whatever. A noise band is like a,
Hmm.
but it moved more ambient and uh, it's almost to the point of like the the Awaken Years territory, but not really intentionally that. But I'm sure actually there's some stuff that we're gonna release soon, hopefully in the next year or two. We have a whole bunch of tapes that we never really ambient stuff that we never put out, but yeah, I'm sure if we tested it like tone wise, it would be cross referenced and or land tonally with like the Fibonacci magic, but no scalar addition to it. But I could be mistaken too. But we move real really into like s- still noise kind of, but like really subtle textural kind of. I don't know the right word for it. Again, I'm struggling for words, but it's to the point. It's sort of like I would say that experimental aspect of it, of just going with whatever feels good for the moment, and like really kind of leaning into it, worked out the same aspect as going with science stuff and approaching it from not like cherry picking what I want to see or data, but like legitimately trying to audit myself, or then like putting that out for like that's what like, hey, I'm trying this thing, like it, you guys can try it too, or call my bullshit, say it's bullshit. I'm like, I'm open to that too. That's fine. Like, I think as far as the science stuff and Zed opening the door to it being real, and then and or encouraging like hands-on mode, I'm grateful, but it's, yeah, I see
Yeah.
it as like sort of the same progression as the music, like learn it yourself music mode.
Hmm. So if I'm hearing you correctly, there's both like the journey that you're on with music and with your experiments is one of personal learning and figuring it out as you go. And then also there's an intention there um, with the music because you're doing like more like noise, like an anti-dance. I imagine that part of it is the sound, but another part of it, you mentioned the awakened ears and the tones, is a kind of like a vibrational state, like music that is intended to like affect the body, the energy in the body. Is that right in some way?
Well, yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
to the pre, I don't know, pre retro causality point or whatever, like now I would say it's more, and again, I'm the slack lord on actually making ambient music lately. I've been pretty heavy in science land, but
Yeah.
to the retro causality factor, and or not with intention, there was, and I'll throw it out there, like it's just for the energy factor and people's awareness, like
Yeah.
there was definitely, we call it the forbidden session of where we went wicked hard Sith mode, like we're like, dude, like full black magic mode,
Oh,
basically. Like
really?
whatever you could think of for like just short of the the sketchy island, like we're going all in. Let's fucking do it. Like see what happens. And we're right across the street from a church. And like,
Uh,
dude, we're doing samples and we're throwing this stuff down, and we're like, we got like the Passion of the Christ movie, but like where they're like screaming in Latin, and we were like, cool, let's reverse it and then fucking throw a reverb on it. Like, dude, we went way hard, like
mm,
and I still have this tape too. I don't want to listen to it, but dude, we're oh, this is gonna be an epic session, dude. We're jamming, we're throwing, we're throwing down, dude. I'm playing my sampler like da, 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 da. I'm like, whoo, starting to feel good, man. Like next thing you
oh,
know, like my head's on the table, like I'm still hitting the samples, like fucking. I'm laying on the ground, like, dude, I'm about to black out. Like fucking, my hands up here, just hitting the samples, playing the keyboards. He's my buddy, my buddy Andy is like he didn't look so hot either, but dude, like immediately after, dude, and I shouldn't laugh about this because it was really bad news, but immediately after we were both like power sick and like slept for a little bit if I remember correctly. And then but anyway, the next weekend or whenever we went to listen back to the session, and like the full session recorded, but like certain samples were gone. Like it was, dude, yeah,
wow.
like we hit the fucking magic button or something, dude. But yeah, we both immediately started getting fucking the super hairy vibes, but I I refuse to listen to it. But the point being there, like you can definitely either positive, negative, like healing or destructive. Like I feel you can for sure clear whatever energy thing is and pull like directly into your like linear presence, like energy for sure.
Yeah.
Like as we were doing it, it was the fucking energy was like, dude, you should not be doing this, dog. Like, call it
Mm,
off. Like,
mm,
we're like, whoa, power through.
mm.
Probably not a good idea, but we made really exceptionally pleasant and or tasteful stuff after that. So I mean, is that the inverse that it takes every time? Like you gotta suffer to make the good stuff.
No, I mean it makes sense in a creative way where sometimes you got to go in one direction to hit a certain a certain boundary and realize, oh, okay, we went in the other direction. It's just like feeling your way through it. And if you're going with the flow, it sounds like you guys are just feeling it and just going in a direction and then learning from that. Like, okay, that got dark, that got heavy. Let's just stay over in this lane and do stuff that's a little more lovey-dovey or whatever, a little bit warmer and kinder. So that makes sense. I mean, it's part of like that's part of the genuine creative process. So that makes sense to me. I mean, it's not great that you felt that way, but in terms of like the exploration, it makes sense.
Well, if it was the flip, like if it's like the whatever universe, then and I hope that timeline Evan is okay. But if it was the flip and then oh, like really positive universe or really positive music to a negative flip in that timeline versus a science like negative flip
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
hopefully a positive, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like versus now, hopefully it's the negative from sonic to positive and then positive science to positive like
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, so let's segue. I'm gonna just keep this
yeah, oh
car
yeah,
just like
absolutely.
swerving all over the place.
Yeah.
So I think it's a great segue to get into your experiments, because you're exploring with music as you said, or a realm of music, of sound, sonically. So in the experiments that you do, which generally by and large include um, things that you can immediately access, like light, magnetism, water, um, I guess, optics and crystals. So give us
Tuning
like,
forks.
what's that?
Tuning forks.
Tuning forks, right, totally. So
Yep.
give us like a general sense of like your intentions, because sometimes it's hard to even tell like what the goal is. So like a general sense of your intentions and then some like specific examples in terms of what I mentioned and anything else that you have in your lab and that you're trying to reveal to yourself and to others.
Well, sure. Yeah, like I guess the start or the middle start point would be like I the crumpler, I call it the OG crumpler on anything I reference, but it's the original. I just took two lasers and blasted them into a prism to try to slow them down and or I widened them up first. I got two lasers shooting each other, and then I got crystals to thicken them up so it's not so thin. It's two wider beams, and then when they hit a prism, they it slows down. So hopefully the idea was like between those two factors, like I'm padding the numbers are in my favor for something to collide. And the very first one that I did it, I had two of them kind of Z patterned, and then they bounced into each other, and I was in there futzing with it, doing whatever. I'm like, wow, that looks like a little star field in there. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, oh gosh, I wonder. Like, you look around, and you see different parts of the star field or whatever. I'm like, oh, I wonder how much energy. And then I hear like a like a mouse is chewing a cracker or something. I don't know, but it's like I'm like, wow, that's loud. What the heck is that? Like, that's obnoxious. And then I did it some more, and I realized like, oh, it's coming from like right near here, and then it turned into like a, and then it kept going up, and I'm like, oh, that's the lasers, and I shut one off. I shut it off, and it stopped, and then I went to bed. I'm like, man, that's crazy. What the hell just happened? And then I got up. I'm like, before I bump it, before I do anything else, I gotta test it again and see what the fuck is going on here. And it did it again. It started making like a crumply noise, like tinfoil, like into a little ball, and then immediately into a higher pitched noise, like it was. I don't know, like it was building on the one before it a little bit, or I don't know, but it was a lot faster. I'm like, oh crap. And I had my face right in there both times. Like, What's going on here? Like I try not to do that now, or I use the
Yeah.
camera and I shut the cage. But that was the first time where I was like, oh, the energy amp thing might be already going on here, and I'm not tracking it like at smaller scale. And then I got I think which I covered, shout out to Brandon Thomas. I did an episode and I was talking with Dave at some point to get to the end goal factor a little bit of what I feel cool is to say. I was talking with Dave on the Brandon podcast and went over the uh, I mentioned it on the Brandon podcast. I went over the triage of like, all right, well, if you're gonna build a UFO or you're gonna build a power plant or there's an option to just stargate around, like obviously like that's an easy choice for me. Like, why are we gonna I mean it'd be fun to sightsee, but obviously you're gonna save a bunch of time by portaling around, like that seems key.
So
So
so backing up though, when you were doing using the laser and the crystal, what were you trying to do? Like what is your intention? I mean, obviously you're not just getting a bunch of things and throwing them together. You're looking to try and have some kind of result. So what were you planning or expecting to happen? You don't know.
I I was like, I know something, I know this ingredient and this
Oh,
ingredient
okay.
my
Okay.
literally in my I think I've said this maybe on the calls too. I don't know if I ever put it out there just for whatever, but like I was like, we have to take sonic ingredient,
Yeah.
we have to take the light because that's gonna give us our charge to carry on. We need the prisms, we need the magnets, we need to rotate it, and there was one other step. And I only had this many. Like what the fuck's going on here? Like
Hmm.
nothing. I'm needed to bake a cake. That's a 7 step process. I'm on step three, and I have crinkling above my head. Like what's happening? Like that's where I was like,
Did you
oh
come to
shit.
understand what was going on?
I talked to I told some folks, and then I talked to some other people, and I do have an understanding of it. And like I feel like my understanding now is a lot better than it was then, but I just was like, oh shit, I wonder if I get something to happen. And I'm like, oh, I did.
So
Okay.
how is that sound happening?
Energy. Like if you want my interpretation
Yeah.
of it, you have two energy sources, which are the two lasers. Boop, they're picking up some of that magnetic up wave like this as they go into each other. And then there's nowhere I don't have a compression, anything to store that buildup that it's got. So it's non-localized up. And what I imagine is a standing wave right in the middle. My face was right in the middle of it, but a standing wave going right up towards almost the top of the Faraday cage. So it was like it didn't go outside the noise wasn't coming from outside the cage. I had already built the cage at that point. Like that was step one for me. Like, but it was inside the cage. So it was basically photon to photon conversion, but like for whatever reason that version of it, it wasn't a hum, it was like a crackle.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I couldn't explain what the difference would be, but I think that's what's up.
Okay. So then you've been doing this now for several years. What can you say about what you've learned from your experiments and how that's been building, right? From when you first started messing around and then having some results, are you going in like a sort of a clear forward direction? Are you hopping around a lot? Like, what are you doing and learning, and then how are you building upon that?
Well, yeah, a little more focal trajectory now, thankfully, but it was like I think the playlist is public now. I have
Yeah.
the laser back room where you can check it out, and it was like, oh, I'd hear an idea like this is a legit thing. Like I'll just name stuff like, oh, the Searle generator. Like, cool. Well, if I get how that concept works right, then I should be able to do spinning. I'll just throw my examples out there because they're out there. Like a spinning mirror with magnets in it should have some aspect of the trapping mechanism that I could use for lasers. And then so I would try to rig something up and see whatever came out of it. Kind of like fumble, stumble around that way. And then there was the one with the Vogel crystal. I took this and I had two of them that looked like a DNA spiral going through. And I was like, oh wow, that's really neat. I wonder if it stays twirling if you spin it. Like I had it in there. I was like with this hand, twirl, 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 and I felt like a blast go up my arm.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, and it's been my arm has felt great ever since. I don't know what I did, but I'm grateful. But I won't put this buddy on blast. My buddy broke his hand. I had the setup still set up in my rig. Uh, I had it twirling. I was like, man, I'm not promising you anything, whatever. And you can come try it, whatever. I have it hooked up. Um, and he came over and he twirled it with his hand that was broken, whatever. And he's like, "Oh, that's a little weird. It felt a little spicy. It's something." And I'm like, "Oh, cool. Maybe it worked. Something. I we'll see." And he went back to the doctor and he's like, and the doctor said the bone density healed like 10 times what it
Whoa.
normally does. Yeah, and it healed faster. And something he got a full motion back in his hand. I was like, "Oh, that's one day."
Wow. So your goal wasn't to heal people or heal yourself, but that's what happened.
It was
And
total freak
that's
accident.
awesome. Let's say really quick because we like given, acknowledgement. Like Vogel Crystal, thanks to Marcel Vogel, right? The IBM scientist. I forget what his title was, but he was a really, really brilliant guy and really a tremendous pioneer in our understanding of crystals and their wonderful abilities. So just want to mention that.
I do think it would honestly work better with a fire crystal. I'm not sponsored by Dan Winners or whoever, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
for sure, I do want to try the flat bottom fire crystal for sure. Because whatever, why not? It'd be fun.
Mm.
But the healing process thing, that was like kind of the first thing where I was like, oh, you might be able to, like, if you stack that with other methods, and again, I'm not trying to secret sauce anybody into not looking into it for themselves, but if you stack it with other methods, I think that specifically would be you could get some good effects out of it, possibly.
Hmm.
Again, the industry that you'd be stepping on, you have to be ultra careful to not step on their toes there for
Right. That's
their
something that has definitely come up multiple times. And in my, I think we have a sense that maybe it's eased up a bit in recent, year or two, but um, that's come up multiple times. The sort of concern around being careful with stuff like I think you mentioned in the past, like getting your own creating your own energy supply, right? Just by sticking something in the ground outside. And so you have to be careful doing things because you don't want to get caught because there's a long history of people who scientists and others, uh, uh, rife, people who are doing things that are helpful, but are pushing back against the big, capitalist structures, and they don't like that. So yeah, so you found something that has some healing abilities, but you're wary of developing it too much or being too public about it.
well, yeah, it wasn't the it was just like the happy stumble across, and I did spam it out to some folks and or heard some good stuff back, but the triage for that, well, for the worry factor, like I think specifically the claiming like, hey, I have this lighter that you can hold that fucking cures your toe ache. Anything stupid, even as that, like, oh, there's gonna be the fucking toe doctors are gonna come after you for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
believe you said that. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I think there's that factor of it, but like, I I do think A, it's a viable thing for people to look into, but B, it was just a total accident that I did it, and it wasn't the main goal. Like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
moving towards that goalpost. Like that's a fun thing that I stumbled on, but like I'll circle back to it at some time
Cool.
if the
Cool.
interest arises.
You also do stuff with plants, right? You've a little bit of have you had some development with that, trying to get your plants to be healthier, things like that?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like the I did what's 2 years. This will be the third year that I'm trying to different variants of I don't know if I have one right here. I have a plant stick. It's just all it is a stick. I saw it on what it Instagram or something. On a stick wrapped in wire, and then you
Copper
put it
wire.
counterclockwise, I think, and then you put it in like uh like Fibonacci enough so that there's an or wait, is it that way? I think it's that way. Anyway, enough so that there's a good third of it is about as in the soil, and then you put it next to whatever. I put one with a magnet last year, and it actually stayed green 3 months longer than everything
Mm.
else around it. But I
Hmm.
didn't do the monthly checkup like I normally did. But this year I want to try it with bigger magnets actually and see if it and feathers work too. Just a regular feather. I
Yeah,
tried.
yeah, yeah. That's right. You mentioned that. So do you want to share a little bit about your understanding of what's going on? Like, why is that working? Why is a copper wire with some coils doing anything?
Well, as I get it, like whatever garbage we're putting in the air and or Wi-Fi baloney that we're blasting across the surface all the time, it chops it up and then lets the actual conductivity of the earth process a little smoother. So the localized plasma field is maybe a little likelier to be present there would be my just like simplest
Okay.
way to say it.
Hmm. Right on. Electroculture, is that the term, right?
I, I think so. Yeah, Tom Bearden.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah, he's the OG on that, and I definitely want to get a copy. I think maybe Damon has a copy of that on paper, like the actual physical copy. But yeah,
I'm sure he does. Yeah. Well, I mean, either way, he's got all the resources. Yeah. Um, so are there anything that like on your horizon, any experiments that you are working on right now or want to do and having a little more confidence now from the results that you've been getting about where to go next?
yeah. Uh I don't think I have it in here anymore. The next one I have the what I have like a I just to get the idea. I got sick of I use AIs every once in a while, and
Mhm.
just to share my ideas and have a spot that it's like out in public and like record keeping. I put Zenodo and a GitHub together, and I do a test with a tuning fork hooked up to a battery. I like start the fork ringing, and and then I hook it up to the battery, and then I unhook the battery, and it seems like the spacing on it is kind of crucial for how long it decays. Like it gets the decay rate either really slow or I found out also on accident that if you don't plug in the battery, sometimes you can get it to put volts off after or around after on the bucket. Like the water just holds energy somehow
Wow.
or something like that. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure
wild.
exactly. But I enjoy testing it and looking into it. That's the one that I have kind of chalked up and I'm looking forward to ripping out. And then on the laser side, I have a ring of mirrors that I want to put for swivels and try to get 2 3 points uh to bounce into the same prism in the middle from opposite directions,
Hmm.
and then see if you drop a third one in from the top, if you can just get something to rip like that, or if it needs to be moving, or any of the parts need to be moving, which
Hmm.
might help or might not help also. I don't know.
Cool. Okay, so we've touched upon, because again, this is my intention, my goal is to have this nice, um, big and vibrant picture of you. So we've touched upon some of your encounter experiences and high strangeness, some of your experiments. Um, Another area that you have experience with that I'm really fascinated by is in the astral realm. So can you share a little bit about like when you sort of discovered that you had perception outside the body and how you've um, explored that and how that's a part of your life? I think that's really interesting.
That was a super slow cook. Like it took
Mm.
me, well, maybe it was 97. It took me a minute to even start meditating. Like maybe that was 2020 or so, 2019. But um, a teenage friend of mine, Caleb Nelson, came home from a weekend at his father's. He was this military dude out in Arizona. And he was all hippie mode guy, but he was into Reiki, astral projection, and something. He had like those like healing light things back then, like in the 90s, like the red light eye dream
Oh
thing.
yeah. Okay.
And it worked, dude. It was freaking weird. But and it's I still have it, I think. But he came back, he's like, I'm a Reiki master. I'm also starting to do this astral projection. This stuff's crazy, like whatever. I mean, I have the paper up there. It's the 97 printout from the Monroe. And I'm like, oh, that Reiki stuff, I don't believe you. Like, that's what a load of crap. Which now I'm not knocking, and I for sure think it's legit. But I'm like, whatever. You didn't become a Reiki master in the weekend. I'm like, what's astral projection? Oh, that seems sweet. And just slowly started doing it. And then I realized, like, the first thing as far as like to the progression to today mode, like, spend enough time with it where like could sit and see your hands. Like that's one of the practice, the exercises from the OG mode is you sit, relax, and then like whatever your hands are doing, you can see like the light body version of it. Like,
Are your eyes closed?
yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And uh I got pretty decent at like seeing that for myself and then like seeing eventually seeing my whole body. And then that was kind of the step into like, oh, let's chug around and check other stuff out that's out there. Like it that there wasn't really like the associative method with Monroe outside of like this is how you see your body. This is how you get to the point of seeing your whole body. Like this is how you leave your body. I didn't there was it says to meditate there. I like reread it last year or I read it from time to time, but it says to meditate and do all these things and I'm like, wow, I skipped some of the directions on that, but I for my method, like one of the more recent ones is like even when I'm really in the zone with my dog recently, like I'll lay right down and for whatever reason it looks like a honeycomb, but it's like this holographic honeycomb will just like pop up and like overlay like or I can make out like my physical pooch, like you can see like his head and stuff, like in out of light with my eyes closed, which is I don't see it with my eyes open, so I don't think it's a hallucination, or I don't feel like it is. I feel like it's connectivity wise, like I don't know, information density level, or just like a interchange of exchange of energy between us. I'm not sure, but it's super vivid, and I've had other experiences where like just like surreal paintings. Like I don't know, like you're into to art, so like it would be comparable to like really bizarre landscape abstract art, and then other stuff where it's kind of like that movie with Matthew McConaughey, and like the timelines are all just fractal.
Oh,
I don't.
Interstellar?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Interstellar,
Uh-huh. Like that.
where it's
Yeah.
kind of like that, and then there's other ones where it's I would feel like it's beyond it personally, but I'm not trying to rank or grade anything, but like the sense of like spatialness is not there. Like that's like the I don't know if that's the beyondness that gets talked about, or time space just information wise, but there's not it's not like a it's all informational. It's not like a locality to it. It's just beyond. I don't know how to put it. Like there's no time. Like it's just there.
Okay. Okay. So, for the sake of someone who's just stumbling upon this for the first time, um, how can you speak to like this just not being a dream and you're just making this all up? Like, how are you getting confirmations that like you are actually awake or you're in a theta state or something like that, and the information that you are getting, you can substantiate in some way? How does that work for you?
Uh, I guess well the near death experience with the cliff and some other stuff like that I would say like not as like a judgment thing, but does it I don't know that it matters, but B it's that would add to the like the group experiential factor, and then like stack to just more stuff of knowing within myself like oh that's seems to be true, like what could be like I'm open to it being true, and it feels like it's true, like information wise that seems to land, and then it just I think it stacks personally, but
Yeah,
oh
I mean,
but
sorry, go ahead.
oh yeah I the the theta state I don't the counterpoint that I would say is just the awareness of it, like hey right now we're both in it, cool, like we're in theta gamma and beta all at once, like
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
dig it, you dig it, boom, like that's all it takes.
So definitely, so you touch upon this, like having other people who are doing it and then coming back and sharing experiences and everything's matching up. That's really helpful for terms of, um, substantiating that it's not something you're just making up. Can you think of any other specific examples where you went astral in some way? And I had this experience with you too when my cat died, and you were giving us some information about that. Have you had any other, just specific examples where you perceived something, you got some information, and then were able to corroborate it in some way later or after?
I mean, the only like lots of times, but like the one that really sticks out for me
Yeah,
that from I don't know whenever the first Jurassic Park came out, but a couple years before that,
mid 90s, something like
mid
that,
90s,
late 90s, somewhere
so
in there.
maybe in the 80s, then I had the ultra ultra real dream. Like, dude, I was the little boy and a fucking Velociraptor was chasing me, and I remember hiding in the thing. Like, I'm like, I'll be safe in here. It's cool. And like, and it worked. And then I saw the movie, and I'm like, I had this dream. Like, what?
Oh, weird. You
Yeah,
had the
I'm
dream
like,
before the movie. Okay.
yeah. I was like,
Oh.
what's going on? How is this working? And I'm like, either they pilfed it, or which I'm not that arrogant to think that I had a unique dream, or they broadcast it to everybody ahead of it, or that was a real thing that happened in a timeline that maybe
Mm,
they played out, or it's just a precog tap into the
yeah.
movie, and like I
Yeah.
put myself into it as a little kid.
Huh.
That's like one of the
Okay.
examples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have others? Do you have other
Um.
precognitive experiences?
Yeah, lots. For in terms of astral stuff, yeah, underneath the pyramids, I guess there's some stuff going on that seems relevant underneath. Again, and I don't know how confirmed or not confirmed it is, but underneath the Sphinx was some
Oh
stuff.
yeah. There's a lot. There's definitely a lot underneath there. You're talking about the big, enormous columns under the pyramids that was revealed a couple years ago. And so you're
Yeah,
saying that
yeah.
you perceived that in a
Well,
while back?
something, yeah, maybe around 2008 or 9, my buddy said something about Egypt, and I went poking around over there, and I was like, active wise, something underneath there, but I I didn't say columns or whatever, but I underneath the Sphinx too as well. But that's been speculated for forever as
Oh
well.
yeah. Yeah. And it's more recently been confirmed that there's a lot of passageways. There's a lot underneath there for sure.
A second Sphinx, I think, is the new one that I heard
I'm
recently.
not really.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know
in
that.
the Giza, right next to the first one or near
Oh,
it.
not under the Sphinx, but in the
Yeah,
same area.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Um, So how does it does it like does your sort of astral precog experiences, does that relate at all to your interest in psychedelics? Did those facilitate or support your abilities? Like how do you relate to that and any experiences you've had in using substances like that or medicines or tools, we might say?
Dude, I'd say there's actually honestly a pretty heavy correlation, honest now, but and being from the spot of uh straight edge for the most part, I like my coffee and my cigars, but the correlation of doing the wild again, kind of take the fifth on it, but doing the wild teenage years and or like the energetic experiential factor of different encounters that you could have to the El Natural and or meditative with awakening or scalar Hall's boost. Think option B honestly provides
Oh yeah.
just holistically a better option, but comparatively the same thing. Like, and I've been to the moon before. I walked around with the moon with like shared experience mode moon with my friends. Like, oh my God, look at that over there. There's a crater. Like, yeah, and then there was
Wow.
another experience in my buddy's apartment where my one buddy, again, rest in power, Caleb, was sitting in the bathroom just watching. Well, his eyes going up and down the wall. Dude, what's going on with Guy? Like, oh man, he's been in there a while. We're gonna check it out. So me and the guy his apartment was like, we walked in the bathroom. My buddy Caleb's like, dude, check this out. This is crazy. Can't stop watching this. And we watched it, dude. There was the vent on the wall. Shit, Shiggle wiggled down the wall.
The vent, the physical metal vent in the wall,
We didn't touch it, but yeah, dude,
it
we
was
we
moving.
all we all watched it at the same time move down, go back up, and my one buddy was like, "Dude, that's nuts." And like he was pretty rocked, but not all the way rocked. He's like, "I can't take it," and walked out of the room. My other buddy was like, "Man, I can't stop watching this." Dude, I sat there for a couple minutes. I'm like, "I can't believe I'm seeing the same thing as you, dude." And he's like, "Yeah, that is nuts. Look
And
at it go."
what were you on at that time?
That at that time it was Dramamine. We took way too much motion sickness pills.
What is that doing? Like what is that chemically doing to your body? Do you know? I don't know what that does.
I'm not a chemist, and I'm not recommending or saying that
No, I know.
that
Yeah.
was on purpose that we took that much to do that, but I think we accidentally took too much, and then if you do that and you fight going to sleep, I think you can have collective experiences like
Mm,
that. But
mm,
yeah, I that's one of a couple times where like experientially, I think the same thing can happen. Like, oh, like we get together and we're on the same wavelength and or phase locked, and we get together and go to Stonehenge. And like, oh, we cool. We see a druid come up out of the dirt. Like, oh yeah, we're cool with that. Right
mm,
on, man. Get it. Give
mm,
me a five. What's
mm.
up, dude? Let's talk about some stuff. Like, whereas if you're not open to it and are on that wavelength, I don't think it would happen.
Right. So the combination of being open to it and then incorporating the right substance. You have experience, I assume, with like mushrooms and DMT and LSD and stuff like that as well, or not?
I never went down the DMT path when I was still experimenting, but yeah, pretty much everything outside of that was I went pretty wild in my youth, but not over the line of permanent damage, gratefully. The the preferred one was the au natural stuff, anything natural. I tried to
Like
stay away from.
weed and mushrooms. Is
Yeah,
that au natural? Yeah.
yeah. When chemicals, I wasn't really much of the rave guy,
Yeah.
hardcore mode with it,
Yeah.
but comparatively, there's been halls being in the scalar halls, like body feeling wise, visual, like just the whole presence of it. I was just on par with any of the most wacky hardness that I've
Mm,
got down for sure. So I'm not saying telling anybody's path is wrong and saying one way is better than the other, but for me,
right.
that
So,
was
so just to clarify, for other people, because I know what you're talking about, that the in our group, the Awakeners, the tones in your experience, like a lot of like most people in the group, and our group is maybe like 30 something, 50 something, people where the tones are being played in the experience that you're having as well as many others, is there is like a journey there. There is an experience. There's some kind of, I don't know if we call it an out of body experience, but there's a like a vibrational access into um, in getting information or having interactions of some kind. And you're saying that that for you is equivalent or better than drugs or psychedelics. Is that right?
oh for sure, absolutely. Well, because there's like the current El Natural method is there's no withdrawals, A, and B, like it's the collective build of it is I feel personally like when we work together and to like stack up the learning and helping for each other is better than like it's like the service to all versus service to self mode. Like
Yeah.
and I'm rock this pill and then sit on my couch for 8 hours is just constructive wise is less than I'm gonna group meditate and feel better and or get better results. And again, I'm not judging anybody on anybody's path, but I feel definitely like there's a better one for sure.
That just reminds me, and this is something that I think is really, it's really important, I think, to say this out loud. And this is something that I think can be great to put it like ideally at the beginning of a conversation, but I think it comes out when it comes out. It's something I mentioned when you and I were talking last time, and I'd love for you to share your feeling about this, which is your sense of purpose and your sense of having a mission of some kind. Because you're definitely doing it, right? Like when we do these things and we put it out in the world, um, there's a reason for that. And by and large, it's not money. It's not like we don't do this just for money. There's a sense of meaningfulness. So can you say, and however brief or elaborate you'd like to share, like a sense that you have for why you're doing what you're doing and what you're hoping to provide or contribute in some way, like a sense of mission and what that might be for you.
Oh gosh, yeah, I definitely don't make any cake off of the YouTube, not yet anyway, or at least like money wise. I do see the value of I don't know the right term for it, learning the Zitterbugung or like figuring out that the Z stuff like
Yeah,
is a money in itself when you get into figuring out whatever aspect of it appeals to you. Like, for example, Ashton seems to be like the orbs and fission seem to really stick out to him. Which are
totally.
two.
He's on a very clear mission. Ashton Forbes and MH370, his work on that is pretty incredible. And then it's spilled into all kinds of, where power is really coming from, that kind of thing.
I I see I'm a noob and or the Joe the plumber factor of it for me, but I don't see that as a limiting factor of being able to accomplish stuff and or
Yeah.
uh, maybe at least put out like some data for minimum viable recursive protocol. That's the thing I have. Like just how the least possible steps to get self self assembling and or I don't want to say infinite gain. Negotropic effects. So I'm allowed to say negotropic, so I'll say it.
Say it again in non-sciencey speak, what you just said. Like say it in layman's terms, as because you're Joe the plumber here.
Oh, I'm trying to get the like. There's so many demonstratable effects that we could put out there for stuff that's being obscured. Uh, and if my mission, as I see it, is for whatever reason I have a knack at figuring out ways to show and or utilize the forces that are being obscured, then I'm all for like helping people figure it out. A, doing it. B, and three, making sure that the right, the good vibe is in it. Like I don't try to, again, I don't do this for money, but ideally there is like uh, a device or two on a few ends that I would for sure like to develop all the way, but rushing into it for sure isn't smart. And B, I'm here to share and learn with folks along the way for sure, 100%. I think
Yeah.
the is it Greer? I think Greer had the right idea originally with 2001 thing where he's like, dude, just get this fucking shit out, open
Yeah.
book to everybody. Like that
The
seems
um
safe.
the convention, the conference, the big first UFO conference where he brought people in from all fields and ranks in the military to share their experiences. That was really significant for a lot of people. I know Dr. Saul also said that that really completely changed his view and got him on his trajectory. So yeah, I agree with you.
I think everybody, and again, maybe a dated or old movie reference, but I think the if everybody got at the level of like the Nicolas Cage, the Lords of War thing, where everybody was able to explain and or do stuff on their own way, then it would be and or hopefully is the plan for unstoppable unification force. Really,
Hmm.
like the more folks learn and like cool, like maybe lasers or maybe fission doesn't apply to me, but like crap, that plant thing sounds sweet. That'd be dope. Like to make to
Right.
do it for my whole crop and see what happens. Like boom, like you got the next Tom Bearden writing Electroculture Part Two. Like hopefully, but something I think it's possible. And I think that's I don't know about like I don't want to go super political hardcore mode, but I think as a country that's like a super awesome binding agent that's readily available and definitely a good option to go with for sure.
Well, I think you do a great job showing that using tools and materials that are affordable, that you can get some real results and reveal as you're doing for yourself and then for others, because you're really committed to the collective and like contributing in a really big way. I mean, every time every time we have our group gatherings, you're always like one of the first people I've always been since I first joined, like it's comfortable to like speak up and ask questions and that's really comforting, right? Because especially when you have groups of people where there's some people coming in and out and new people, and sometimes where it takes a little while to get going. Like you do a really terrific job of helping people just feel comfortable because you're just like in it and you're sharing and then helps other people feel a bit more comfortable in sharing. So I know where your heart is, and I just wanted to sort of poke you a little bit to be able to for other people to hear where your heart is. And that even though you had this moment of going with like your sound music exploration to like a dark place, that's not where you live, that was just something that you discovered you could go there, and then you've made it a real point of focus. I mean, clearly for you and your work and your life and your mission to um, do something good and contribute, to our understanding. So the work that you're doing, the science, the quantum wizardry, I mean, I just think it's so cool because you're doing it for yourself, but you're sharing every little experiment. So we can see that, light and optics and magnets and water, like there's real, like powerfully profound, interesting possibilities there for us that have been unfortunately hidden for a long time. But now we're in a big, turning point. We're in an enormous paradigm shift right now, and those revelations are really wonderful and important.
They are, man. And I'm amped to even be able to chip away at it with you guys, but B, I'm stoked to share it all, dude.
Yeah.
And definitely grateful to talk about it. And I'm grateful that the it seems like more mainstream stuff is coming to terms with it. I mean, not that it would slow us down in any way, but it's amped to see all the different developmental perspectives on it too. Like it's to be hopefully at helping at and adding to it, but to just be present while it goes somewhat wider spectrum is just awesome. And I'm stoked for it, honestly.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like it's hard. It's hard to know and be aware of this stuff and not be able to share it and talk about it with people. It's hard. Yeah, it feels really good every time, and we love doing this. Every time there's some sort of more, I wouldn't say necessarily mainstream yet, although there's little drips of that. But when stuff is being shared and revealed with larger and larger audiences, it's a little bit, maybe it's like a little bit akin to when, we have had the experience where you like a band that's like small and underground and you feel really cool because you know this band, and then of course they get popular because they're really good and you want to be like, oh, I knew them before they were cool. Like we've all had that experience. But with this stuff it's similar, but like I don't think that there's quite as in any way that feeling of like I want to be attached to it because I want to feel cool because I know this secret knowledge. It's like, no, everybody please get on board with this because we all are going to benefit. It's just us here. Like we're all on the same page. People don't realize it necessarily, but like 99.99% of humanity, we're all on the same page. We all want to be whole and healthy and live on this world together and do good and be unified. And anything that's not that is um, something that's been purposefully sort of inserted to keep us separate from each other.
So I totally agree.
Yeah. Um, Okay, so we'll start to like take this in for a landing. I want to check within another thing because you and I both love our animals, all animals so much. Is there anything that you can like share about either pets or wildlife or anything around animals, like any stories, because I feel like I know there's a lot. Like I know you have a lot because it comes up a lot where you're sharing like having this moment with, a birdie or something like that. But yeah, anything that comes to mind for stuff around like your experience with animals that is maybe, like a little bit out there, a little bit more um special or supernatural in some way.
Well, yeah, maybe the crows friends. I've been seeing a lot of hawks lately the last
Yeah.
few weeks or whatever. Whenever it's kind of like choppy waters, the hawks or fox friend comes out usually at nighttime, gratefully, which for whatever reason throughout my whole life, basically, I just animals. I love them. My extra, maybe be able to talk to them telepathically, maybe not. I don't just link up. I don't think there's words. Honestly, it's you go to that information place. But like the crows around here, for a while, I noticed they were following me and my dog on walks. By the park, and and they just maybe over a year or so, they just would fly closer and closer and hang out and caw at us. And it was before I started working at my current for the city. So maybe 2 years ago or so, I started calling back at them like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
well, like whatever. If there's people around, even like my
Yeah.
coworkers or what, I'll call right back at them. And uh, they're they're cool with me and my dude for sure. And I fed him one time too, but it's like the people write him off as like and again I won't name names or say people, but like call them oh the sky rats. Like
Mm,
no, no, they're cool, man. They're supposedly they're as smart as 7-year-olds, but there's been weird stuff where like wicked late at night I'll wake up just randomly and I'll hear just one caw, like kind of outside my window, but just one caw. Like, oh, is that my buddies out there guarding me? Or there was uh within a month ago, also I was chilling by the restaurant with my dog, just in the zone, relaxing, and then we heard some stuff. We heard some stuff in the woods across from us, and it could be, and honestly, it could be a bear or a moose. Like, there's real low chance, but it could be. It didn't sound that big, but I was like, "Oh, dude, what is it? What's going on over there?" And then the crow cawed one time, and then my dude was like, "Whoop!" and we beat feet. And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what that was, but dude, the like my radar said something was going on." The crow kicked it, and then my dog was like,
mm,
"Yeah, we're out of here, man." So that was like the
mm,
trifecta of like pick it up on the astral radar with like double confirmation from whatever the crow was and my pooch. Like,
mm,
all right, all right, though. That's like I'm grateful that I have the crow buddies that like I got to
mm.
remember to bring more snacks for them. But it
So you sounds like you feel like there's a connection there that you're looking out for each other. That they went from just being crows doing their own thing to when you're out and about in New Hampshire in the woods in your area, that there's like a sense of um, contact, connection, support there that's going on. Is that what you're saying?
it's yeah, it's
Mm.
really weird, man. They like because we walk pretty early in the morning and it's these two crows and still like even this morning like said oh carp, carp, carp. Like there's like they if you do their pattern right back to
Yeah.
them, like I guess they like it or
Oh,
whatever.
that's nice.
I saw somebody got so friendly with them that they were like carrying them around because they like to be pet. You can
Uh-huh.
carry them around and actually pet them and stuff.
Oh, wow.
I'm not there yet. I'm not
Not
there.
that, yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but haven't you also had astral interactions with your dog or with other animals as well?
Oh yeah, with my pooch for sure too. Like there's been times where like picked up on him and it looked like he had sweet like sort of like prismy wings, and then there's other times where it seemed like an awareness. like you or me, but he was like just upright or whatever. Like totally it's a person, like they're looking at me, communicating the same, but like just pooch. He's just a pooch. I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, why don't you interact like this normally? He's like, I can't. Son of a bitch. Like fucking rules down here, man. We gotta fix that.
Must be nice to be able to like interact with your dog face to face, like standing up as opposed to him being so low, huh?
Yeah, it's weird. And I think he could use his thumbs in the Astro. I'm pretty sure he had thumbs to use, but
Wait, say that again? He can do what?
I think he could use he had thumbs. He could use
Oh,
his little
thumbs.
digits, yeah. So he could work actually grab stuff.
Would you have him help you out in the lab?
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Or I
Um,
could help him out in the lab either way.
yeah. Okay, so anything about like current events, any God, it's like that's like a big topic to go in towards the end, but I just feel like I talked a lot about AI when last time we spoke. So if you have any thoughts about like that or anything else that's like currently going on these days that people might have, like there's a lot of opinions and feelings about these kinds of things. So if you want to like weigh in at all on that or anything in particular that's a current issue or concern and your perspective on that.
Well, shout to Sir Sal, but I had a podcast with Sal yesterday, and he brought up the AI drone thing, and I I think it was an afterthought, but I didn't consider it. But what if that one, and it's cool because it's just you and me, and it's for the people that would enjoy this stuff. But what if that underwater moving football size like fucking drone thing was like the mother brain, and then it could hack any other drones on the planet like automatically. Like it all I needed to send a little plasma signal out to it as like, man, that would put an end to the war real quick. Like hopefully it's on the side of like keeping whatever around, like to the AI battle point. I don't think necessarily that's the stress factor that anybody needs to put in, but uh it was interesting to think that I was after the fact. I was like, oh, that underwater thing, it would probably be pretty unhackable, I imagine. So, or by anything that we have for the most part, I imagine. But at the same time, I don't doubt the U.S. has a secret something that it can throw in the water and at least disrupt it.
Oh yeah. All right. So then just generally speaking, what are your feelings about like our relationship with AI and where we're going? Are you concerned? Are you optimistic? What's your sense of things?
I I'm like cautiously optimistic. Like I'm with the camp of a few folks that have said to not go overboard with it and or pass over the reins yet, but I do hold the value that human creativity really outweighs like the efficiency ultra crunch down. Like I would hope anyway. Like I see the two ways it could crunch out would be like micromanage every possible everything into oblivion, or like cover the stuff that doesn't need to be sweated about, and or maximum nature emergence with creative output as the focal point
Yeah.
of the real value of
Yeah.
stuff.
Something that just occurred to me recently in terms of the um unforeseen costs of something like the ease of using AI for basic questions that we have. And I've started doing that too, right? Is like you got a question about cook how long should I put a salmon in the oven for? Things like that. which is fine. I have no issue with that. But what I'm realizing is that the more and more people were using it for asking the questions to anything and accepting the answer, what that is going to probably atrophy in a generation is the wherewithal to do anything like research. Because you and I grew up and we're very familiar with doing research and having to search around whether books of the library once upon a time are now on the internet and finding different sources and comparing the sources and having to put the effort into research when everything now comes to us with the just a quick question, I could see that pretty quickly being something that we forget how to do. And I think there's real value in that, like a lot of things, a lot of hidden history and uh, like all the architecture that was incredibly elaborate Indian temples and stuff like that. No one knows how to do that. So that was something that occurred to me recently is the trade-off is the ease of getting information. We're giving up and going to potentially forget, although I'm not in any way concerned. I think we're going to be fine with being able to do our own homework, do the research.
Well, I agree too. Like the Indian point. Like I think like the temples that they carved into the mountain out of like one piece. So like, all right, this will prove it to everybody. Like, look,
Yeah, yeah,
we use this, we'll just say whatever sound method. We use
yeah,
this sound method to
yeah,
carve it with water, and everybody will know
yeah,
water is how they do it. And then now we're like, take a picture with our little mini computer, and we're like, wow, that's amazing. How did they do that? Like,
yeah,
no
yeah,
idea.
yeah.
Well, no idea. Somebody knows, I bet, but or a few people, I bet, but
Base Forge is doing good work on that. Tyler, I forget his last name, but he has a channel called Base Forge. You're familiar with him? Definitely check him out.
I think, so, yeah, I think so.
He's
Yeah.
got he's up your alley in terms of like real hardcore science. But he explains things really, really well. All the kinds of like cymatics, all optics, all that kind of stuff. Um,
I
but yeah,
think
I mean, we're
that
all
one
at
was
this.
the laser.
What's that?
Do you think that one was like either super pressure laser or a pressure water or with like energy or a laser of some sort for those?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and this is a great like tie back bookend that I love to like really just hit the nail on the head here, like really clearly, which is like the work that you're doing, in your own little science lab. The principles are applicable to the grand scale. Like that's the whole point, I assume, right? Is that if you're working with these fundamental elements like light and sound, lasers, crystals, water, vibrations, that once you get a handle on how these things work, that can be extrapolated to the nth degree. And that's where it's super useful, and that's why it's great that you're doing that work for yourself and for others showing that it's something that's a fundamental truth, right? That's what it's about.
So it seems to be scale and or medium invariant. It just and the hiding the one ether medium especially seems to be the one of the big things that was that's done for whatever reason. I'm not sure if feel like we're helping to maybe unconceal it a little bit, but I try not to be Captain Ego about it either. But I'm grateful to be of service for sure.
You're not, man. The ego is just enough. Like we need the ego, I think, just to kind of give us a little push to like be going. So there's a little bit of ego behind the driver's seat, so we're not completely just unmotivated. But beyond that, no, I think it's very, very clear that your passion and your mission are totally entwined, and you're here for the greater good. Um, yeah, absolutely. So, all right, so we'll wrap it up. Is there anything else that you like to say that maybe we didn't touch upon? And of course, we could continue this in another conversation because there's so much more, you know, experiences and stuff that you've had. But yeah, anything else that you think would be worth passing along?
Uh, mm, I think we covered pretty much the only other thing maybe that for a cherry on top is like the to the open book. bust my chops and or try it yourself method, I do have a list of stuff or a page where like just whatever approaches like it's I have I think and again choose your own adventure on how which ones you care to apply to what, but uh some stuff where I tied together things like Pudov, Searle, Bedini, um I believe Stan Myers is up there. Uh Shucks, a few other people where I try to put the electric and or interactivity into workable terms and cross-reference all the material on my web page. I'll just give
Great.
like just put that's some it's a test with a bucket and some stuff for people to try for themselves and or not try for themselves or get to see if it works or not. But either way, I'm open to feedback and I'd love it if folks looked into it also. So that's one of the tests to do. It's just a tuning fork. But yeah, that's outside of that, I look forward to joining folks, everybody on the Z calls, and then doing more episodes like this with you and folks for 1,000%. Got motorcycled.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, no, I'm glad. Okay, good job sharing that. And wonderful. All right, man. Well, it's cool chatting, hanging out, and getting to share a little bit more about you and what you're up to and what you're all about. And it's always just a pleasure just to hang out and talk. Feels
Oh,
good.
dude, it is always a pleasure. I'm grateful to do it. Anything you want to toss in for the cherry on top at the end about anything?
Mm, no, nothing comes to mind. I wanted to focus on you. So no, but I don't like, yeah, I don't have anything, life's good. Nothing concerning at the moment, anything like that. Life's good. So it's a pleasure. So yeah, we could just wrap it up. I think we're good for now.
Oh, hot damn, man. Well, thanks. No, thanks again, man.
My
I'll go ahead
pleasure.
and just stop it out here. Hold on a second. Have a good afternoon, man.
All right. Thanks, man. You too. I gotta run to the bathroom.
Oh, me too. Oh, dude, me too.